When you consider that a lot of our culture, our heritage, everything has been documented for centuries in Hawaiian music. So that is why we're trying to bring that back into people's lives. Educate, use music as a form of healing, and then also to let people know that there's a lot of our culture that's built into our music.
Welcome to Richard Hawes' YouTube channel, which looks at what we can do today to make Hawaii Island a more sustainable place to live so our children and grandchildren and their grandchildren won't be priced out of here and will be able to stay in Hawaii and live good lives here. Today we're talking with Jayme Peterson. Welcome, Jayme. It's so nice to have you with us. Our topic today is the Hawaiian Music Perpetuation Society, which I think is so interesting. So this group that you're a part of is dedicated to the preservation, promotion, and perpetuation of Mele Hawaii, or Hawaiian music. What a great thing you're all doing. So that's a nonprofit that started in 2020, is that right?
Correct. And actually, the origin of it was during COVID, and our founder just felt the need to go out and bring music to the communities. It was uipo, Kumukahi. She is a very well-known musician. She has been in the business for, I think almost 50 years. A multiple Hoku Hanohano award winner. She also was a caseworker at a center for challenged individuals. So she has seen the impact that music has on people and the community. So during the COVID, she decided that, well, people are not coming to us to hear our music and be part of our culture programs. We're going to take it out to the community. So what they did was they went to different, mostly Hawaiian homesteads on this island, on a truck in the back, kanikapila. They asked permission first if they could come. So they drove the trucks through the communities. People would come out and like, oh. So, and that kind of the inception of the program, and it's expanded since then.
Isn't that great? I read something that you were calling it Mele on the Move. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. I mean, you throw it on the back of a truck and you're taking music hele on, right? So one of the things I contacted Richard because he had that, he's restoring the sampan bus. We're kind of like throwing the idea out to him to maybe do a similar type of initiative. We'll see.
I'm game. That's for sure.
Mostly because he had told us about his restoration back a year ago and met, and it's like, okay, I'm ready to jump on the sampan bus because it's good. Hele.
Yeah, and then we talked about it, when I first heard it, I went, oh man, this is a great idea. So I'm all in.
Wouldn't that be fun? Jayme, you just said cousin, so I have to point out that you are yet another of Richard's amazing Kamahele cousins. Is that right?
Correct. I think great-grand Tutu had like 10 kids. My great-grandfather was one of the kids, and then Richard is from another of the kids. So it's like we're related through our great-grandparents who were cousins. Something like that. So we're called Kamahele Nui from Puna. You mentioned Kamaheles, everybody from Puna knows, oh yes.
So that's why we keep talking to all these interesting people who are doing really neat things. And then Richard will say, oh yeah, that's my cousin through the Kamahele family. And I guess part of it is it's a huge family, and part of it is you guys do neat things.
Yes, we do. We do get involved in a lot of interesting things.
That's great.
I got a call, invitation to have brunch with Jayme. And that's when Ipo and Jayme and
Janine.
So we were just talking, and at that time, I didn't have a good sense of what this whole picture was. So even like Ipo, everybody knows her. And she was talking about Onamea. So my focus was, okay, Onamea, Pipikeo, Hamakua Coast, I'm thinking like that. And I had no idea how big this thing was. But the idea of using the sampan bus really got my attention because I like the general concept, and the sampan bus gets so much attention, people just love it. So this is going to be a good fun time.
Wouldn't that be great? I can just see you pulling up in the sampan bus and all these Hawaiian musicians pouring out and just setting up, and kanikapila. What a great story that would be. What a great thing.
And then another program we have been doing for a year in Hilo is called Kupuna Nights, and it is something that's meant to bring the kupuna out at an early hour. It actually ends in a bar. So the kupunas come out, they enjoy hearing Hawaiian music, they get up and sing and dance. And Richard was invited. He was unaware of it, but once he came, he said, "Oh, this is so much fun." And the program concludes early enough that you can still go out and drive home safely and go out and eat dinner. So I told Richard, "Oh, this is a wonderful date night for you and June every month."
Oh, that's
Second Thursday of the month. Oh, that is at E Komo Mai Grill. It is on the main drag. After you go over the bridge in Hilo Town, you're going towards Keukaha, and it is on the right side. I think it used to be the KKT Japanese restaurant way back when.
How many people show up to that?
Sometimes the line is going out the door and the room gets packed. It's not a huge room. So it's been quite the thing for kupunas to look forward to every month.
You know what is really amazing, is that generally the kupuna is an afterthought. When they had this event, it's the first time I saw all white-haired people having such a good time. It was just incredible. So much fun. And then after, it's 5 o'clock pow, yeah. It felt like, when I was younger, you close the bar 2 o'clock, except when you walk out, hey, wow, still light.
So it's set up for older people to be comfortable, go out early, get home early.
Yeah.
Now, Jayme, what is your role with the group? What do you do exactly?
I am one of the members of the board of directors. I am the only one on Oahu. We have quite an interesting, diverse group on the board, and my role is as secretary treasurer, administrative stuff, or public relations, marketing, selling our events and activities, and just going about and telling my friends and family about what we're doing as far as bringing music back into our lives, because our focus areas are on health, education, and preserving the culture. Those are our focus areas. And especially now we are really going into the education and the health aspect. I mentioned that because a lot of kids these days, we feel not getting that exposure to Mele, Hawaii, like before. I went to Kamehameha. I was there from kindergarten through 12th grade. And that's one of the things I always remember. They taught us about the music. They taught us ukulele, and we're singing Hawaiian music. And then, of course, Kamehameha has the reputation for the song contests and all like that. But many of the public schools, we're finding out, do not have that level of exposure, which is really kind of disappointing.
Now, when you say as healing, tell us more about that.
We have found that, and there's a lot of scientific research that's been done on how music can bring, especially, I read this recent one about Alzheimer's patients, so how it kind of turns on their minds, and that there's been a lot of development in the area of music therapists. And then when you witness what you see at Hakupuna, some of these seniors you think are not really that much mobile, but once they start wiggling around, even if it's in a chair, you know that they're making the connection to the music they grew up with, they learned, and now it's kind of giving them another vitality.
How is this addressing what you mentioned about the youth, about, getting more of the Hawaiian music to our younger people?
Our culture documents everything about us, and her focus too has been to bring attention to the kamalu o nalani, in other words, the gifts of the ali'i and what they gave to us. They established a health center, Queen Emma. They established a foundation to take care of children and orphans, Queen Lili'uokalani. Education, Princess Pauahi. Kupunas, King Lunalilo. So you see how, and all these songs, there are so much songs written by them and for them, especially the Nalani Eha, the four royals, King Kalakaua, Queen Lili'uokalani, Prince Lele'ohoku, and Princess Like. So those songs and the linkage of our culture to the royals and the gifts that they gave us is what we are trying to make people more aware of, and how we have benefited, but unknowingly, from all these gifts.
It makes me think of, I have old photos that were done here at this house where I live of my grandparents and my great-grandparents, parties that were going on, and there's a trio in the corner with a bass and a guitar and an ukulele, and somebody's dancing hula and somebody else is singing, and that's what you're bringing back, isn't it? I think that's just wonderful.
That's what we witnessed that yesterday. We had our inaugural Kupuna Nights, Honolulu, and it was at the, it's called the Waiwai Collective. on University Avenue. It used to be Varsity Theater used to be next door. And this building used to be the First Hawaiian Bank. And it is a beautiful venue for events. The story behind that is because it was mentioned by the manager that all the Polynesian people have meeting venues. The Maoris have marae, and they've always had these meeting venues. The Samoans, the Tongans, Hawaiians don't have a meeting venue, a venue for having meetings, conferences, workshops. So that is why the Waiwai Collective was started. So we went in and we approached them, could we have this event here? He said, I have been dreaming about for many, many years to have something like this, because the kupuna that came, like I swear a lot of them from Papakula, we also visitors come. So it was just really wonderful. People just getting up there. You saw some of the stream, right? How people are just kanikapila. There was one corner, Richard, a whole bunch of them were sitting in the corner, and they actually started off the event by kanikapila. I mean, old style bass with the string, and he had the stick in an old gas can instead of a wash tub. It was hilarious, but it was so great to see these guys, like, they're so into their music.
I just reached 200 and something days in a row that Duolingo Hawaiian language, and I can understand some of, like the words of the songs. Holy smokes. And it's so interesting, and I can do this because I'm retired. Yeah. So I spend all my time farming, but now I'm doing stuff that makes me happy. And that's the whole point of this journey we're all going on, is make people happy, because it's your mental health that's so important. Otherwise you get depressed, and all that stuff is not good. Hawaiian music, I never thought about it like that, but holy smokes. And using the original words and the meaning, and what was that? Where was it? Who did it? What are they talking about? What are the streets? There's a whole bunch of things that's real. So instead of thinking that it's just a tourist thing, that's not what it is at all. What it is just bringing people together, just grounding people and making them happy. It's amazing.
And when you understand the language a little bit, like what you're saying, it makes everything so much richer. It's not just some pretty sound, it's telling stories, or it's about a place, and suddenly you start understanding things more. I love that about Hawaiian music, and and understanding the language a little bit. So that's neat that you've started tapping into that. What else does the Hawaiian Music Perpetuation Society do? What are some of the big goals or missions, or what's coming? Tell us more.
Basically, it is to perpetuate the music, first of all, and make people aware of our cultural heritage. And also we want to educate not only the visitors, but many of them come and they expect, I don't mean to sound demeaning, but the wiki-wacky kind of Hollywood version of Hawaiian music. And really, we are trying to get away from the more contemporary infusion of other genres, like the Hawaiian especially, and go back to the traditional Mele. And like I think what a lot of the young composers are coming out is magnificent. Like say for instance, the Keauhou group, all those boys that went to Kamehameha, and they really learned their stuff. That is one of the basic goals. We do events like Hot Kupuna. We also get grants to put on performances at the Hula Mound in Waikiki. And that is good because then we expose the visitors to the authentic Hawaiian music and hula, not all jazzed up like what they would see in a typical showroom in a hotel. Mali'o, she was the goddess of music. The first light of the dawn is called Mali'o. That is our capstone event for our foundation, which features Hawaiian women who are musicians. They can sing, and some of them can compose. So I think we've had that maybe about 3 or 4 years now in a row. That's our capstone event. The concert is at the Hawaii Theater in October. So we invite women, even up and coming young women who are musicians and can sing. So we bring these women on stage and give them exposure. And especially their young ones, we want their faces out there so people become familiar. A significant thing that's happening for us is we were honored to be asked to have our offices on the grounds of Lunalilo Homes in Hawaii Kai. They have a little cottage that's become available. So they asked, would you folks like to come and have your offices here? So we said, yes. And what we will do while we're there is provide sessions for the punas living the home, and then I'll be able to have people come in and learn about our culture, do some arts and crafts, lala weaving, la'i, tea leaf lei making, learn about Olelo Hawaii, and especially to bring, if we can bring children's groups in and expose them to all of this stuff, and at the same time say, oh, by the way, next door is a hale full of kupunas. You folks want to go visit or do something with them. That's kind of one of the things we have in mind.
So, Richard, are you going to go back to more of the hot Kupuna nights?
Oh, yeah. So when we were invited, June and I decided that, we better go a little bit early. So we went half an hour early, and the parking lot was full. The whole place was full. It blew my mind. It's just so uplifting.
We want to expand in time in partnership with the Waiwai Collective to take it to Kauai and possibly on Maui, because we're already getting questions like, how come it's only on Moku Okeawe? Okay, we'll try.
Is this a free event or is there a charge?
No, it's actually people can go in and buy drinks and food, so it's no admission.
I see.
Our Honolulu event, though, because it's not in a bar, there is going to be a nominal fee. The one in Honolulu is going to be more of an ohana event, kupuna, keiki, and the other adults. Whereas the hilo one is geared for the real kupunas who can still drive a little bit in the dark, inu a little bit, and go home early enough.
Richard, are you getting up and doing your hula?
I haven't started.
Did you ever dance?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I had no idea.
Did Richard tell you the story about he was blown away by the guy that was dancing at Hakupuna? Right? He went all the way down. And he came all the way back up.
Like nothing.
And how old do you think he was?
Oh, I don't know, 60s, I guess. I have, or maybe older. I don't know. But he wasn't a young kid, that's for sure. It made it look so effortless. And why I appreciated what that stood for was because in my training and weightlifting and stuff like that, the subject comes up, about balance and getting off the ground. And most of the time you're worrying about getting off the ground, letting not even like part of a dancing, and so effortless, and oh man, it just blew me away.
Richard can attest to this, is how we were brought up. Take care, Juliana, and be respectful of each other and share. So that's why whenever we always do a step back and think, okay, how does synchronize with our values and to righteous? So pono. So that is like our guiding vision. It guides us in all that we do, because to be Hawaiian, it's a big responsibility. And a lot of people forget that because that's how we were taught. Excuse me for getting emotional. And it seems like in this era, it's like everybody's like all over the place and not really cherishing what it means to be a good person. But if you were brought up right, like in our family, you don't go that way. You stay the straight and narrow to what it means to be a Hawaiian. The thing is, even though I am so busy with the foundation, I'm having fun. Like Richard said, he's having fun doing what he's doing. And so I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, even though it's like, I need to go to sleep already. It just kind of fires up my brain and my level of activity.
Yeah, so, and it's meaningful to you.
It is very meaningful. And it's like for us elders, we only have a certain amount of time left, and we need to keep pushing forward. Like his thing is, what would our kupuna do? We're the kupunas now. So we got to do what needs to be done, and we cannot mess around. We have no time to waste.
Basically, that's the values that we grew up with. It keeps you active. It gives your life meaning. Thanks a lot, Jayme.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Jayme. That was really interesting hearing about what you all are doing with the Hawaiian Music Perpetuation Society. I think it's terrific. And thanks everyone for watching. We will be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Richard Ha's vlog. Ahui ho.
Ahui ho.